So hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the river. It's a bitterly cold morning, easily the coldest morning of the year. It's -4 and you join me on the bank in search of chub. I've been treated to quite a mild autumn this year. It has only been the last week or so where temperatures have started to drop, and this week they really have dropped. You join me on the second day of a fall below zero. Yesterday was -3. Today, -4. So yeah, it is bitterly cold, and as you can see behind me, white all across, and it's going to be difficult, most definitely. So conditions like this are quite dramatic when it's dropped this much, but it's not impossible to get a bite. Over the years, I keep to a few rules when it goes into that initial, first dip of the year. Number one, I disregard canals and still waters pretty much. Today, they've all got a lid on, but that initial drop really does hit them venues hard. No matter what species I'm going to target, I will always look to a river when we get that initial drop in temperature. The second thing to look at is species. Of course, you can catch Mr. Carp when it's this cold, but it's not the one where you want to go out there really and have a good chance of getting a bite. You'll be looking at a river like this one and be targeting species like pike, chub, grayling, and if there's a lot of numbers like on the River Ribble, you could be targeting roach and dace. But when the temperatures are this low, you really have got to target those species that are going to continue to feed. And most definitely in the river today, that is going to be Mr. Chub. Carrying the bare minimum today. If we get lucky, we get a shoal. I've got my keep net, my landing net, and my side tray in there, so I can get in the water. And the new Call Them Opportunistic hold-all. In there, I've got me me tackle box, me maggots, the bank sticks on the side, landing net, my selfie stick, and like you've seen on the River Ribble, I've got my 13-foot Cordon Glide all set up, ready to go. So yeah, we've got a bit of a walk to the first swim, so let's get up there and make a start. So as you can see there, you can just see how cold it really is, white across, but look how clear the river is as well. Now this is an area that I have seen chub in the past when I'm walking. Doesn't look like there's any about today. So that is what happens when it gets really cold. The fish will condense and you've got to find them shoals. So the first swim we're going to try today is this one. Now when we were walking up here, you could see the bottom in all that other swim, couldn't you? But if you look just a little bit out, you can just see how dark the water is there. That just gives away that there's a bit of depth. Stand down here, put our maggots in about here, and then just trot through this dark water. So the rod being set up today, ultra prepared, so it can move between swims really quickly if it's not happening. Got a 0.6 gram float, a bulk shot of number 4 Dinsmore weights, and that's down to a 2 pound 1 ounce hook link and a size 20 hook. Got my trusty switch reel, and the rod is my Carbon Glide in 13-foot. So looking at the side tray, I had a couple of pints of maggots at the weekend because we were fishing the Ribble both days. So got a bit left. There's a few casters in them, but they'll do. I haven't brought any hemp with me today, quite simply because it's cold enough. I don't want to be putting my hands in cold hemp. So feeding the maggots and just edging that bait through really slowly. As slow as possible, just holding back and then letting it go, just trying to get that bait just to flutter in front of a chub. So regulars to the channel will know I've fished this swim quite a few times, and you normally go straight in and get a bite. I was actually on the verge of moving. I must have been fishing about an hour of just trotting through, putting them maggots in, and just edging that bait through like you've just seen on screen, and eventually it's bedded. Hopefully Mr. Chub. Today it's just that cold, it's just got to go past its nose really, but to get the first one is a super confidence boost. I'm just going to take my time, them oily boils, and hopefully we can get him in. And that on a day like today is what you call a result. And from wanting to move swims, I think we'll just stay a little bit longer. We'll give him a good rest in there, and you can see there that tiny size 20 hook. You don't need big hooks to catch chub. So next trot down, we've got another bite. It's nowhere near as big as the other one, definitely. Might even be Mr. Trout. It's jagging a bit. You know, that disturbance in the swim, like I've said before, on a good day is bad, but on a day like today you just don't want it. So try and keep him up here in the swim, just keep this disturbance underneath my feet. So I suppose today I shouldn't be so picky and be grateful of the bite. He didn't cause too much disturbance, and we'll have a quick look at him. I said, yeah, beautiful fish, lovely set of teeth on him, and yeah, what a lovely little fish. So one thing about these days, they are quite short. I've trotted the swim for another probably half an hour without a bite. Today I'm not going to hang about. I'm going to go and have another explore, another swim, and hopefully we can find one or two more chub. So just to give you an idea of just how cold it is today. Yeah, pretty cold. So days like today are days where you don't want to be exploring new areas of river. You want to be going places where you've had bites in the past. You know, it's going to give you that confidence that at least you've had bites there in the past. And this swim, fought through the undergrowth a bit. It is very tight, and it has changed a bit since I was last on it. Got the bait waiter down there with the maggots on, but this tree was never here before, and plumbing up, it used to be them leaves out there was the trot, the deeper water. The deeper water on this one has changed. It's right underneath my feet here, so I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. I'm going to put my maggots in literally at the end of my rod tip there, hoping that we can get bites round about where that leaf's going over the shadow of that tree. So second trot in swim 2, I'm into a fish. Hopefully it's Mr. Chub. What a lovely chub that is. More than welcome. Like I said, just it is a tight swim. There's plenty of snags in it, so I did bully it a bit more than I would normally, but not going to be getting him out because, like you can see, we are down the bank. We'll get the keep net in, we'll pop him in it for a bit, and a nice solid start to this second swim. And like I say, if you fish swims that you've been before, at least you've got the confidence that it's an area where you've had bites. Keep that in and that chub resting. I'm not really going to make a cast straight away. I'm just going to keep feeding them maggots round about there. It is a slow glide down. It looks a bit like there's a bit of a snag there, but it's just got that nice even water there. So it is literally rod tip. So I am whispering a little bit. Well, whispering for me. You see there the leaves falling, but proper made up with that second chub. You know, getting one so quickly bodes well. Hopefully if we can keep them down there. And I am regretting not bringing me hemp now, because the hemp would have kept them down there. But yeah, the second chub and an excellent result. So just waiting that probably about 15 minutes of just feeding the swim. Gone straight in and hooked another one. Wasn't in any rush. Might have gone straight back in and hooked it anyway, but it just feels like today you've just got to play it safe. And so far we've managed to fool 3 of them, and there's a load of bubbles coming up down the middle there. I don't know what that is. So we do live in a world in fishing obsessed with size of fish, and we do forget that often it's relative to the area you live or the venue that you're fishing. And for the venue I'm on today, that is a cracking chub. Look at that, bronze, brassy flanks. And so the swim is really tight. It's a shame we could hold him up, but yeah, what a lovely result on a freezing cold day. The maggots are still alive, barely. And yeah, that worked, didn't it? So I'm just going to keep just putting a few maggots in over an area, so they're going over this deep water. And say the bite come around about where that leaf was, so not too far down. So one thing this swim does lack that the other one had is sunlight. There is no light getting through, and it is absolutely freezing. It is about being sensible on these sessions and knowing when to quit. You know, you don't want to be driving home in the dark with ice about. It's much safer, you know, to have a few fish and then leave at a sensible time. So we're going to give this a bit longer, see if we can pick up some more, but not too long. Although if this carries on, it's going to be very hard to leave. Although I think very jagged, this one. I've hooked it right down the swim. I would say it's a trout, but I think I've just caught a glimpse of it, and I do think it is a chub. Chub number 3 from this swim, number 4 for the session. And yeah, he has got a lot of maggots in his mouth that might suggest there isn't as many down there as we think. And this is why moving can be such a good thing, because the colder it gets, the more condensed fish get. And if you do find a good shoal of them, you can get quite good results, because they're hungry, it's cold. And chub, like I said earlier on, are one of them species that you can target in any temperature, really. When them white lips come up that are as white as the ground today, you know you're winter fishing. And that is why I get out of bed in the morning this morning in the freezing cold, because I knew I had a chance. So hopefully today's show, with the minimal of gear, you know, hardly any bait, the right tackle, balanced, you know, light lines and the right approach and picking the right venue, you can get a few bites. I've been going off the rod tip and slowing that bait down. If you see there, them leaves are going through. We'll hold the camera still, you can see them leaves have already gone. And that's how much you're slowing the bait down at this time of year, just edging it through and almost tantalising them and slowing it down and giving them more time to make that decision. Remember, they know if it goes past them, it's going to be in someone else's mouth, not theirs. And slowing that bait right down. This is the first one that's really made a beeline for that snag. Definitely knows it's there. But it just shows, you know, on the coldest of days, just getting out there, you know, you can't catch them in their house, and it's a famous saying, and it's true. So what a little move that's turning out to be. That's a cracking chub, that, and a great battle. He definitely seen the tree and went for it. And this bite has come right at the end of the swim, just holding back really hard as the swim shallows up, and he's probably been back there the whole time, just hoovering up and getting away with it. And all the chub today have been in an absolutely amazing condition, fin perfect, in their winter colours, with that attitude of defiance when you hook into them. Right, so the session does come to an end there now. As you can see, it is absolutely freezing. It's about 3 o'clock now, so we are going to call it a day and make our way home. So the good thing about that opportunist hold off and call him, it does double up as another hooking mat. So as you can see on the screen, we've had plenty of bites. 6 chub I think it was in that last swim, and yeah, what a move it turned out to be. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully it's shown that you can get out there in the coldest of temperatures and get bites. If you pick the right location, as in a river, and target the right species, you can actually have some good days fishing. And I'm convinced if we stayed in that swim until dark, we'd have had even more chub, most definitely. All that remains now is to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, and if you are new, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch us all next week. Tight lines.